Thank you very much. Deanna Newberg, Joey Coleman, Deborah Weingarten. Deanna Newberg.
Hello, my name is Deanna Newberg. I'm a public school teacher. I taught kindergarten for 12 years, and I currently teach 6th grade social studies and language arts at Nixon Smiley Middle School. I'm happy to hear Nixon Smiley CISD. Consolidated Independent School District. I'm happy to hear that the State Board of Education has indicated that it desires a major emphasis on our founding principles. The problem is that the current social studies TEKS and the newly proposed TEKS do not explicitly state what those principles are, nor do we teach those principles to our students. We ask our students to think critically on questions of government and current issues, but we do not give them the principles needed as a foundation to base these decisions. Our own founding fathers, as bright and forward-thinking as they were, could not have formed our great nation without a knowledge and understanding of these principles. These principles lie at the very heart of our government and permeate our founding documents. I have created my own curriculum for my students to teach them the principles of property that our government is based on. Our founding fathers were heavily influenced by John Locke's Second Treatise of Government and the principles of property found therein. These principles lie at the heart of our founding documents. They state that each individual has an unalienable right to life, liberty, and property, and the sole purpose of government is to protect these rights. No individual or group by force or fraud can take your life, liberty, or property, and in turn, you cannot take the life, liberty, or property of another. I have taught these principles in my kindergarten classroom, but I had to develop the curriculum on my own because I could not find anything in textbooks or children's books out there. What I did was I told them the story of John Locke, which led into the principles that our government was founded on. This book that I have here is a book that we created as a class, showing you their knowledge. In your handout, I have a sample of one of my kindergarten stories. These principles can be taught. They can understand this from kindergarten on up. And I believe that it's a shame they're not in the TEKS, and we need to put these in there. So I implore you to reject the newly proposed social studies TEKS until they explicitly state and teach the principles our government was founded on, as well as the philosophy of liberty, which illuminated and inspired our founding fathers. It's not only our job to teach these principles, but our responsibility. It was John Adams that said, children should be educated and instructed in the principles of freedom. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hardy.
May I ask you if you are familiar with the 5th grade TEKS?
I have not taught 5th grade. I have looked over the 5th grade TEKS, yes.
Well, I must tell you that what you're calling for is already found in the 5th grade TEKS, and it's reinforced in the 8th grade TEKS. And the 6th grade is world cultures, and that is the basis on which the whole program is divided, is this spiraling curriculum, 5th grade, 8th grade, 11th grade. The 6th grade corresponds with the 9th grade, which is world cultures. I'm afraid that your desire for the board to do doesn't really make sense because it does not pedagogically follow the intent of the social studies world.
In 6th grade, we do talk about limited and unlimited government. And it is very difficult to explain limited government without a knowledge of the principles that our government was founded on.
And I contend they've been expressed in the 5th grade curriculum.
Well, I'm sorry to disagree with you, but what I am actually saying is we need to start with kindergarten on up and integrate these principles, apply these principles.
May I encourage you to start with the curriculum, kindergarten on up, and find that these principles are embedded in K through 6.
Are there further questions for Ms. Newberg? Mrs. Carter.
I think that I'm understanding, one of the messages I'm getting from you, and I want to make sure I'm correct, is that we can add rigor and that we can expect more with our little ones, even starting in K.
Yes.
And so if you would be specific, I'm happy to look at some of your ideas, but I need exact teeth.
I do have that. And I'm sorry I don't have a copy for everybody, but I do have a copy of revisions and additions to the 6th grade and kindergarten teaks, showing you where you can implement and inject John Locke, the principles of property, into our curriculum.
It's starting with K?
Starting with kindergarten. I have kindergarten and 6th grade teaks.
Okay, so I'll be happy to take a look at what I have.
Yes.
Right.
And I also have curriculum that I developed, and I can show you things that we did in kindergarten during the break if you're interested.
Thank you. Further questions from Ms. Newberg? Mrs. Knight.
Not Ms. Newberg, but for you, Madam Chairman, so we all just get a copy.
Ms. Newberg, do you have a copy with you that
I
staff could make
Yes,
copies
ma'am.
of and distribute?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
I'll let you and Mrs. Cargill work on your own as you choose during a break, but I
Okay.
think staff would be available to make copies to distribute.
That would be wonderful.
I'd like to share that. Mr. Craig?
Appreciate your comments, but during this process, did you ever share your recommendations with the work group members or with TPA so that they could be reviewed?
No, I did not. I was not aware that I could do that. I've been, creating this curriculum, putting it into practice in the classroom, and I thought that this would be a good place to share my concerns.
Thank you.
Any further questions for Ms. Newberg? Thank you very much.
Joni Coolhan, Deborah Weingarten, and Tim Brewer.